Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Today I wanted to continue talking about the spectrum of a person, and moving on to the next one, which was originally dubbed by Carlos Zuma, I believe, the player, but which I feel is much more better suited by being called the collector, because player can mean all manner of things. Collector, much more specific to what this person is. And this is usually a case of someone emulating the bad boy behaviours and taking on the some of the more kind of variety and kind of confident aspect of it without the appreciation of other people, without the appreciation of what the bad boy would be getting out of these things. And as a result, the first thing to note about these individuals is that they tend to have a very shallow understanding of others. And as a result, they don't tend to have a good number of friends from amongst the opposite sex for one reason. The collector is someone whose variety and whose agenda usually just helps them feed some score that they are keeping. They keep score and then they want to brag about it. Why do they brag about it? Simple. It's validation from other people. As said with the bad boy, all of those experiences, all of those things that they are, or the bad girl even, all those experiences and those things that they are finding for themselves, they add to the little pile of gold in their head. And that pile of gold is there for them to keep safe because that's important to them, it's special to them, it's something that they have gone out and found and been, love of life. Wow, that's amazing. That's the thing that I can take with me in my head to keep me going. These guys, though, they are literally trying to move from one place to another, and so that pile of gold, if you want to put it across that way, those experiences, those things that they find, those people that they find, only ever to drive the validation of others. That big pile of gold is just to show off to people, to go, look at how awesome I am, even if all of those gold pieces may very well just be like chunks of lead painted. But as a result, though, they're driven by this score, and so having, they don't have, with that lack of understanding of others, and considering that usually most of these individuals are heterosexual, as are most of the world's population, and as a result, they don't tend to have as many friends of the opposite sex, simply because it's really hard to brag to friends of the opposite sex when you're viewing and using most of the members of the opposite sex that you interact with on a more intimate level as just a way of increasing your score. And as a result, though, this that's a bit of a problem for these people. It helps keep them distant from other connections that might actually help them more in life generally than just increasing their score and bragging about it. But as a result, being wanting to chase the score, wanting to chase the things that they can show off to other people, especially around relationships, considering that such a big deal is made of relationships and sex these days. They tend to get intimate very quickly. They often hurry into things, or possibly even kind of make not a physically forced point of things or anything, but they will maybe force themselves into situations to kind of hurry things along. And then they may very well make promises, but they won't deliver on them, because as soon as they've got that thing that they want for their score that they can show off, everything else doesn't matter. They'll say one thing and follow another just to get that extra point. Yeah. They'll go with their male friends. Yeah, sure, I'll come down the pub with you. One girl makes a point of kind of getting his attention, and just because that's more likely to increase his score than going down for a drink with friends, he will chase the other thing without a word to anyone else. Same goes for girls. Girls' night out, she may very well blow off all of her friends just because some guy that she feels she can get an extra point off of has shown a little bit of interest, and so she will chase that first, therefore causing an impact on those friends, noticing that she's just not there anymore. And it's a problem. This is the problem that I come across a lot, actually, especially with young people, where they're not able to validate themselves. They're not able to generate enough self-confidence or analyze themselves in such a way that they can go, I have goods and bads, and that's okay. They need other people. They always need other people to validate them. And so that's one of the reasons why social media has blown up, especially amongst young people. You can throw your entire life up online, and everyone and their uncle and their dog and whoever else can get in touch with you, can tell you how wonderful your life is, can sympathize with how shit it is. You can start social movements that revolve around things that just plainly at times aren't true, and all of those kind of things. And it's all blown up because of validation. And this is the thing. These people require validation more so than so many others, because they need their score to count for something. But what happens when these people get older and they're still trying to keep score and keep count and brag about it? Well, by that point, because their shallow understanding of others has prevented connection, because they've got very few friends amongst the members of the opposite sex, which then also potentially leads them to have not many friends amongst their own sex either, because they've made promises and not delivered on them, because every single relationship that they've had has been a quick or forced or fairly hurried affair just to get the point, or just so that they can brag about it. Look at how amazing this girl is that I've been dating. She's fantastic. Oh, but I've done something, or something's gone wrong, because of course it has, and now I'm on to the next one within a week. It's one of those things that really kind of, they're so inconsistent, and yet in some behaviors and really consistent in others, and it becomes this negative kind of floaty thing. And so it kind of rolls on, and the longer it rolls on, the more isolated these people become, because that reputation will spread. The behaviors that they are putting across will become more and more obvious the more they invest in them and the more they practice them. Unfortunately, that does mean, though, that if they're continually chasing validation, if they're continually chasing that score, them being isolated, which will eventually happen, will lead them to no longer be able to accrue increased score. They will no longer get validation because there will be no one else around them, and it leads to a very sorry existence for these people. My advice to the people who are doing this, who are looking for hookups and things purely to brag to friends about it and stuff like that, if the only person that you are really harming by doing this is yourself, you are allowing everyone else that interacts with you to learn from the fact that you are purely damaging yourself, your reputation, and your capacity to connect with other people. In which case, simply put, do some soul searching, look inside yourself, have a realization that you are made up of good and bad, and you definitely don't need other people to validate you. You do not need to keep score. There is no point. Look for meaning in what you are doing and the people you're interacting with. Do not look for purely just to have more notches on your bedpost than your fellow friends or whatever. Yeah, because as said, you're only going to end up isolating yourself. It's only going to be problematic and detrimental for you down the line. What you need to do is learn to validate and approve of yourself, and then after that, look for meaning and look for learning in what you are doing. Because what are you learning by keeping score? How are you enriching yourself by hurrying into and out of these various interactions and relationships, and by not keeping up with the people around you who would support you in bad times? You're not helping yourself. And I would say that this, whilst one of the less harmful of the more negative kind of points along this spectrum, it's definitely something that over an extended period can cause a huge amount of damage to the person actually doing these things. So paying attention to yourself, not letting these things happen. Don't let score count. There are a few friends of mine that are in this situation, and they are, now that we're all hitting our 30s, to one degree or another, they're starting to feel very lonely, and possibly more so than those of us like myself who don't get to see people very often. Because at least when I get to see people, I can still connect with those individuals, I can still have those conversations, I can still very much connect and understand and interact with people without there being the drive in me to force through and hurry through different things to gain further validation. You know, it's think about all the energy that you're putting into doing that, and how it could be spent in so many other ways that would be so much more enriching. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on this one, and after the overview, and ultimately, you know, again, what do you guys think? Have you guys been on the receiving end of one of these collectors, be it a guy or girl with umpteen million notches on their bedpost? You know, please let us know down in the comments. Please share your experiences, because it will allow both me to see what you guys want from future videos and things, but it will also allow other people to see the world from other perspectives and potentially learn from them to help them in their own situations. But otherwise, if you liked this video, please drop me a like. If you found it interesting at all, gave you something to think about, you know, dropping me a like lets me know that you guys want to see more. And otherwise, please subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.